This is the 7Artisans 35mm T1.05 Vision lens. Well, actually this is the 50mm, but I needed to hold something for dramatic effect. I'm actually filming on the 35mm. So let's go ahead and talk about the 35mm T1.05 from 7Artisans. I did order mine in a 3-piece set with the 25mm and 50mm T1.05 Vision lenses. A complete lens lineup set review is coming. And of course, if you actually want to use any of these lenses at T1.05, you're going to need neutral density filters. Because I like to shoot wide open, that's the whole reason I got these lenses. I use a combination of a variable ND and a fixed ND. Links to my favorite ND filters, these lenses as individuals, and the complete lens set, which is kind of hard to find, will be in the description down below. We do have a slip over style lens cap here. I'm cool with that. It's better than the screw-on kind they usually do in their photo lenses. By the way, you can get a photo version of this exact same optical formula. I'll drop a link to that below. You sacrifice the geared cinematic body in exchange for a much smaller, lighter, and cheaper version of the exact same optical output and formula. As you can see, it is geared so that you can use your follow focus gears to operate either the aperture or the focus rings, or both if you have two follow focus gear sets. The aperture goes from T1.05 down to T16, and the closest focus is 0.37 or about 1.2 feet away, which is pretty close for a non-macro lens. You get a huge 270-degree throw on your focus ring. Now, one thing I cannot stand, I don't understand why they're on these lenses. You can focus beyond infinity. I have no clue why you would ever need to use this, but there is no hard stop for infinity. It will go beyond infinity and blur the entire image. Again, I don't know why this is on these lenses. It's really my only major gripe with these lenses, considering the price to performance that you get in every other aspect of this lens. Aperture blades are rounded and the bokeh is very smooth through the entire t-stop range. Close focus examples to show you guys that it gets pretty blurry, foggy, lack of contrast when you're really close focused and you're shooting wide open. It does clean up as you go up some T-stops. If you continue to shoot wide open, but you push your subject back, after a couple of feet, even at wide open, the image starts to clean up quite a bit. And at most realistic shooting distances, this lens is gonna do just fine wide open if it's for video. If you're gonna pixel peep, you're gonna notice it's a little bit soft. You do have some chromatic aberration on your hard contrast lines, especially when you're back focused. On video, not an issue at all to me and to most people that want something that's cost effective and has some character, because as we covered in the 25mm, character comes from optical flaws of the lens. You cannot have unique character without flaws. The flaws are the character, and the character come from the flaws. This lens does not display much of a swirl. Most of the time you don't get a swirl at all like you see in the 25 and the 50mm. This is probably the flattest, least character. Does this have a good look? Yes. Does it have character? Yes. It's just missing the swirl. I like the swirl. If you don't like a swirly background and foreground, then that's completely fine. This lens is gonna suit you pretty well because you still get that vintage look without a lot of that vintage swirl. And your aperture is clickless, so if you wanted to change apertures, you don't have to roll through different hard stopped apertures. You can smoothly roll through the aperture ring. It shoots very flat, so if you like to shoot log because you like a flat image, the natural flatness that comes from these lenses further enhances your ability to really pull your files around and edit them to suit however you want the end result to be. I custom edit all of my color grades and I like the additional flatness. It gives me a huge amount of latitude when editing. Finally, flaring from a hard light source. For instance, I'm looking directly at the sun. I have some clouds in the way, but it's still a pretty strong light source. It's the sun. Flares are present, but they are not overwhelming. I neither love them nor hate them, but they are present and it's something I can work with because it doesn't wash over the entire image. Again, links to all this stuff is in the description down below. Thank you so much for watching this video, the 50mm T1.05 and the full 3-piece set comparison to see how they go together as a set. Videos are coming up soon, so subscribe to stay on top of all the new content I have coming, and have a great day.